Hello friends, welcome to VLinkU TV YouTube channel. I am Ullas. Today we are discussing about cyber fraud part 2. In part 1 we covered the different ways of fraud, how scammers are doing it. In part 2 we will cover what all precautions we have to take in case of a fraud happens. What is the procedure to claim our money back? So, in common, let us discuss basic things how we can prevent a fraud. In what all ways we can take care of it, how to prevent it. Point number 1. Whenever we receive OTPs or somebody is calling us and asking for CVV number, that is the 3-digit number behind the credit card or debit card, never ever reveal this because this is the main access to your account. So, whenever you receive a link or anything, don't click on the links and never share OTP or CVV number to anyone. Whenever you are using AnyDesk or TeamViewer or any other kind of software, never give access to unknown people to your phone and laptop. So this will prevent them from doing fraud. In lottery scam, whenever you receive a phishing mail or a message, or you receive a WhatsApp voice message or voice call, or in any way, never revert to them, never open the links and share your details. Coming to credit card and debit card reward points. No bank will call us and tell to withdraw the credit card and reward points. They'll be rather happy if your card points expires actually. So you want to utilize your reward points, log into the net banking directly, choose whatever product you require and take it from there. And whoever is calling or sending you a link, don't open those links. To avoid SIM swap or SIM fraud, whenever you are using the phone, always keep cross-checking. If it is going out for more than half an hour, it may be an indication or it may not be an indication, but still, we have to be very careful. And the best way where you don't link your accounts is, whenever we are having dual numbers or dual SIM cards, you can dedicate one particular number to only your bank account and EMIs, loans or banks. Use the other number for all your social media network. In case if he is hacking also, he will be hacking the primary number, not the secondary number. Coming to identity theft, whenever we are visiting Xerox centers or internet centers, make sure you are not leaving an extra copy at the Xerox center. And whenever you are using cyber caps or anything, make sure you don't have a camera behind you. And whenever you are visiting malls or any public places where they collect your information, that is your email ID, phone number, your date of birth, please don't give all those details in those malls anymore. So these are all different ways how they will access your personal data. Coming to matrimony and Facebook fraud, whenever you receive a request from unknown persons, cross-check twice. And whenever they are placing a requesting for money, go there personally. If the requirement is really genuine, and it's left up to you as per your wish whether you want to go ahead and help them or you want to, if you have a feeling that he is trying to fraud you, we can stop it there. So this is the best way for this. And whenever we are downloading unknown apps, maximum try to restrict the permissions what it is asking. Only for genuine apps where it requires location tracking or your multimedia access, then only give permission. Then we have this tax fraud. We will never receive any messages or emails saying that for a refund or an excess payment, we will not receive any mail. We will be intimated through mail. If we are doing our income tax returns filing individually. If not, we have our auditor, you can get in touch with the auditor and he will help you out. In case of refunds, automatically it will come and fall into your account. And very rarely a error happens where you are doing a short payment. That will be intimated through mail. You can log into the website and make the payment. Coming to OLX fraud and online website fraud, if you find one product is genuine, go to that particular place. Once you are okay with the product, Go there personally, cross-verify the product, check the identity of the person. Once you are receiving the product, give them the payment. It can be through cash or it can be through UPI. Today everything is handy. Then coming with Wi-Fi and hotspot which we use in public places. Never give access, because this is a very easy way for fraudsters to commit crime. They can easily access our devices. Maximum try not to utilize them where it is unsecured. Coming with EMI fraud, whenever you are receiving a link from unknown sources, never open those links. When the EMI is scheduled for a particular date, ask the banker to clear the EMI from account itself. In case if it is a technical issue, there will be no bounce charges or it will not affect your CIBIL. Tell the banker very clearly, clear from the account directly. Let it be a second presentation, that would not be a problem. They may claim that your signature, there is a mismatch, we will not be able to process the ECS, or we are not able to take it from your account, it is a Sunday, we have a technical error. Go to the bank directly, pay the EMI in cash, and you will have a new ECS or NACS, that is called NASH form. Register with the banker and process it completely and ask them to take the EMI amount from your account directly. Never entertain for online payments and other unknown wherever you receive links. So this is how you can prevent EMI. Coming with adult apps and dating websites. Whenever you are using those kind of websites, never reveal your identity. In case a fraud has happened, the maximum cases what will happen is people doesn't come forward to lodge a complaint because they fear of where their identity will be revealed. The cybercrime police will assure you they will never reveal your original name and your identity. If you have given access to the fraudster, that is your videos or photographs, the cybercrime police will assure you that they will get it back to you. And by going and lodging a complaint, this is one step ahead. You are helping out the police to investigate the case also. And in return, you are helping one unknown person where already the same fraudster has committed a crime. And they may help that person also to, if he has done any money transaction or anything, he may get back the money. And one more thing, friends, never ever step back saying that I may lose my name, fame or anything. It will be kept as a secret and you are helping an unknown victim who is about to be fraud from this. So, cyber crime police has come out with a solution. What it is? It is called as golden hour. Why it is named as golden hour? And what is the importance of golden hour? The importance of golden hour is once the fraud happens, the money got debited from your account to a fraudster account. Within 1 hour, if you inform the cyber police, immediately they will freeze that account. And from there, the multiple accounts, if the fraudster is trying to transfer, every account will be freezed. And there are instances, even at the 12th account, they have recovered the complete money. So this is how the golden hour works. At every stage, they will freeze that account. Now, let us understand where to file a complaint, what is the process, and what we have to do. So, for the public convenience, the cybercrime police has come out with different ways. For Pan India, there is one toll-free number, that is 155260. I repeat, 155260. You can call this number and lodge a complaint. From there, what they will do, they will pass on the particular case to the particular state and district cyber cell department. From there, the investigation will carry on. In case if you are staying in Karnataka, there is one more toll-free number, that is 112. That is for Karnataka Cybercrime Police. You can call this number and you can lodge a complaint. In case you want to log in through website, it is www.cybercrime.gov.in. This is applicable across Pan India. Anybody can log into this website and file a complaint. Coming to Karnataka, we have 31 districts. For the public, there are 31 cyber cells across Karnataka. I'll put the email IDs in the description box and I will share it with a slide also. Once you file and complete, the next procedure is you will have to share your bank statement. If it is through credit card, you will have to share them the statement, or if it is an unbilled transaction, you can share the message where the money has got debited. Friends, this was a small effort from WeLink You TV YouTube channel. Very important topic, and we needed to know the solution for cyber fraud, and we understood how golden hour works. Subscribe to our WeLink You TV YouTube channel, like our videos, share our videos, hit the bell button. What all queries you have, you can comment me in the comment section. I'll reply to them. So this is Ullas signing off. Thank you.